This is the Washington Times front page for the first day of December, Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Financial markets reeled Tuesday after vaccine maker Moderna predicted the Omicron variant would inflict a material drop in their COVID-19 shot's power, and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said the viral strain could produce downside risks to in-person work and supply chains. Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel told the Financial Times there is no world in which COVID-19 vaccines are as effective against the variant discovered in South Africa as they are against the current Delta variant. Powell told Congress the Fed might speed up its plan to pull back on monthly purchases of $120 billion in government-backed securities, a practice designed to support financial markets amid the pandemic. Powell added that greater concerns about the virus could reduce people's willingness to work in person, which would slow progress in the labor market and intensify supply chain disruptions. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 652 points, and the S&P 500 gave up nearly 2% on the news. New York City this week became the first American city to open government-approved injection sites for people to use heroin and other narcotics under medical supervision. Sen Wu-Tan reports Mayor Bill de Blasio described the sites as an extension of existing harm reduction services that will share locations with previously established syringe service providers. Supervised injection sites have been suggested by some health and government officials for years in New York and other U.S. cities, but have been derailed by political opposition and legal hurdles. The hopes are that the sites will help prevent drug overdoses. The opening of the supervised sites comes on the heels of a recent Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimate that a record 100,000 Americans died from drug overdoses in the 12-month period, ending in April. CNN has suspended anchor Chris Cuomo indefinitely after a report from New York Attorney General Letitia James disclosed more details about how much he helped his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, fight accusations of sexual harassment. Dave Boyer reports CNN said documents released by James point to a greater level of involvement in his brother's defense than network officials knew. Text messages and Chris Cuomo's own testimony in the Attorney General's probe show he was in frequent contact with his brother's top political advisors as sexual harassment allegations mounted last spring. According to the documents, Chris Cuomo suggested statements to the governor's team for his brother to use in his defense, sounded out journalistic sources and colleagues for behind-the-scenes developments, and sought information to discredit at least one woman who came forward with an accusation against the governor. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. The trial of Jussie Smollett over an alleged hate crime hoax is going on this week. Valerie Richardson reports the 39-year-old Smollett, previously a star on the Fox television show Empire, faces 6 counts of disorderly conduct based on his allegedly false police reports. Smollett claims he was attacked by 2 people in Chicago who beat him, put a noose around his neck, and taunted him with racist and anti-gay slurs. Chicago Police Detective Michael Thiesch testified this week that police determined the alleged hate crime was actually a staged event and that it didn't occur. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are asking for hearings into fraud during the distribution of unemployment benefits during the coronavirus pandemic. Joseph Clark and Kerry Pickett report Republicans and Democrats want more information on how and to whom payments were distributed. Kentucky Congressman James Comer, the ranking member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, called the numbers deeply troubling and said it deserves his panel's immediate attention. According to LexisNexis Risk Solutions Government Division, of the more than $700 billion in pandemic unemployment assistance approved by Congress, as much as $175 billion fell into the hands of foreign fraudsters. And finally, the Salvation Army says it has withdrawn a discussion guide on racism that was intended for its church members. Salvation Army Commissioner Kenneth Hodder told our Mark Kellner if that document is getting in the way of the fulfillment of our mission, the Salvation Army is going to remove it. The group created the guide in response to protest against racial injustice in 2020. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms just by searching Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.